Good morning and welcome, everyone. Before I start the introduction of my team and the panel, can I ask the attendees to introduce themselves so that we can start? Bob, you want to start?
Thank you, Chair. It's Bob Deere. I'm a licensing, compliance and enforcement officer with Ealing Council, the local authority.
Thank you. Mr. Panchal?
Mr. Panchal from Personal License Courses UK Limited. I'm representing the client, Mr. Surbir Singh, the license holder of.
If you have anyone with you, can you ask them to introduce as well?
Yes, introduce yourself. Surbir Singh.
Hello,
I'm Surbir Singh.
I'm Surbir Singh.
And you are?
Sorry?
You are the owner?
Yes, he's the owner.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. My name is Councillor Munir Ahmed, and I shall be chairing the hearing.
Yep.
Together, my colleagues, Councillor Sanjay Kohli, Councillor John Ball, and I comprise today's subcommittee. Hatun Zab is the legal advisor to the subcommittee. Jack Robert is the clerk to the subcommittee and will be minuting the meeting. In accordance with the procedures, I shall invite the licensing authority to present the application for a review hearing and call any witnesses in respect of whom permission to appear has been given and answer any questions put to them. Invite the premises to make their representations, answer any questions, invite the parties to briefly sum up their respective cases. And at the end of the hearing, the subcommittee, accompanied by the legal advisor and the committee clerk, will retire to consider its decision. The decision will be given at the end of the meeting and confirmed in writing within 5 working days. So I'm going to start by asking the licensing authority to present, please. Bob?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is an application from the licensing authority for a review of the premises license for a premises called News and Boose, 49 Western Road, UB2 5HE. On the 12th of October 2022, the licensing authority submitted this review application, and a blue poster was displayed in the shop window as required, and also a newspaper advert. The premises are situated on a busy road with greater shops, which is mixed residential and commercial properties. These premises have been licensed since the 21st of February 2006, and the license was transferred to Mr. Surbir Singh on the 7th of August 2020. The designated premises supervisor is Mr. Jagrup Singh Sangera, who in fact was the previous license holder up until August of 2020. There are 5 other off licenses within 500 meters, and in fact there's actually only now 4, because one has lost its license recently for the same sort of offences. There are residential premises above this premises.
Mr. Panchal, can you keep your mic off if you're not speaking, please?
The premises were visited on Wednesday, the 15th of December of 2021 by trading standards and licensing officers, and an inspection of the premises revealed illicit goods behind the counter. A Ford van key was found, and in the rear of that van, more cigarettes and Indian tobacco were seized. A return visit was made on Tuesday, the 4th of October 2022 by the same officers, and as we entered the premises, Mr. Surbir Singh was actually stood behind the counter. The purpose of the visit was explained to him, and as in the previous visit, additional illicit products were found in the van, which we'd already seen parked close by. Officer Gohari from Trading Standards asked him if there were any in the vehicle now. He replied, just a little. We went to the vehicle, which was about 50 metres away on somebody's private drive. And inside the van was found 3 large cardboard boxes, which contained 3 packets of counterfeit cigarettes, 1 pouch of counterfeit roll your own tobacco, and 102, and that's 20.4 kilograms of unlabeled poppy powder. Selenium filled tablets and 3 packets of Camagras, and also 1,748 packets of Indian tobacco. Photographs were taken of these, so over the 2 visits, 32 packets of cigarettes, that's 640 cigarettes, 1 counterfeit pouch of roll your own tobacco, 102 unlabeled poppy powder bags, which is, I say, 20 kilos worth, and 1,766 packets of Indian tobacco, which amounts to 9.25 kilograms. The unpaid duty on those products amounts to £1,500. We say that the premises licence holder is failing to promote the licensing objective of crime disorder and undermine the objectives of the authority as a licensing body, and in the area of public health, as the available of cheap products not only affects the efforts to encourage residents to give up smoking, but also makes smoking more accessible to young people. Due to the above incidents, the obvious disregard for the law and the fact that the premises licence already has has no conditions, I would ask that the ultimate sanction open to committee be exercised and the premises licence be revoked on this occasion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Bob. Do you have any witness? I don't see any witness here. Is that correct?
That's correct. No witnesses, Chair.
Thank you. Questions. Now, Mr. Panchal, you want to ask any question at this stage? Only questions. You will have the opportunity to present your case, but at this stage, you can ask if there's any question.
Sorry, Chair. Yes, I do have a few questions to Mr. Bob Deere.
Sure.
My first question is his visit on Tuesday, 4th October 2022. Can Mr. Deere tell us that where was this all the products found? Was there in the shop or in the van?
On this occasion, on that date, all the products were found in Mr. Surbir Singh's van.
So there were no products found in the shop?
No, because there were so many products found in the van, we didn't look behind the counter.
So is the van licensed for licensing authority as a premises license? Is the van licensed or not?
Well, I think you know the answer to that to Mr. Panchal, don't you?
Okay. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any question from my colleagues? Yes, Councillor Ball.
Yes, Mr. Deere, the poppy powder that you found, I've been looking up about that, and it can be a very dangerous substance. It's associated with deaths of infants when it's been given to them. Was it completely unlabeled, or did it have some sort of labeling which doesn't meet required standards?
Completely unlabeled, sir, and obviously you are quite correct. It's a derivative of opium.
Thank you.
Any question from Councillor Kohli? No?
No.
Okay, fine. Bob, I have read the notes, but just to confirm, on both occasions in 21 and 22, it was the same owners. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Singh was present on both occasions. Yes, correct.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to the presentation from the premises, and Mr. Panchal, it's over to you now.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I'm going to be brief and very straightforward to this case. Mr. Surbir Singh, who owns was a license holder of the premises. He's not the DPS of the premises. He's only the license holder of the premises and the business. He did obtain his personal license in the year 2013. He then carried on when obtaining the personal license, he did have a shop, the Green Food and Wine in Reading, from 2013 to 2015. And then thereafter, from 2015 to 2019, he had another shop called Best Buy and Sell. Again, both the shops had no breaches. He ran the shop without any breaches during that period. 2019 to 2020, he carried on no business. He was left without a business after selling the other businesses above. He then bought this shop in the Southall that we are now having the matters discussed. As Bob's just put his review in saying there are 5 other shops around the area. People tend to, in areas like Southall, Wembley, and they tend to have normal Indian products come from India that they sell and are consumed by the Indians. So we tend to have those products in, although they are illegal to sell, but then you find a lot in the market. So shopkeepers tend to get tempted to buy those and trade with them when they shouldn't be trading. So in 2021, when Bob and they visited, there were products found there. Some of the products found were of the Indian origin, and some were found with the products of the cigarettes. The client was not aware that he was not supposed to sell them, having looked at the other businesses doing that. He then stopped, did not deal into that kind of businesses. As you are aware, I've just asked Bob here, when his visit happened on Tuesday, 4th October 2022, my client's argument was that he did get these products. He was aware that he was not supposed to sell them. The products were in the van, which were there, but they weren't up for sale. He had obtained it from somewhere, and he wanted to have a look at it to see whether he was allowed to sell it or not. So they weren't for sale. The license that we are discussing today is at the shop, which is buy and sell. That is the shop that is licensed in legal terms if we look at it. The products which were found in the van could go under legal terms, could have a legal implication for Mr. Surbir Singh as individual for having those products or in possession of those products, could have a special prosecution, separate prosecution regarding it. But none of the products were found at the shop, which is actually licensed, and which is what we are discussing today about the license. So we agree that Mr. Surbir Singh does own the shop, which Mr. Deal has visited. We feel, yes, that Mr. Surbir Singh should have not had those products in the van, but he has an explanation which he says he did not bring into the shop to sell yet. There is a DPS which is not present at the moment. The license does not have any conditions on it. At the present moment, the license is without any conditions. We were appointed last night by Mr. Surbir Singh in this matter of the hearing for this case. He did receive the documents for the hearing because of the Royal Mail strike. The documents didn't reach him in time. It just reached him yesterday morning, and he ran up to us and said, "Can you represent us?" Which we said, "Okay, we will do our best." Hence, we looked at the matter, and we feel that Mr. Surbir Singh could have a DPS, changed of a DPS at the premises, because the present DPS is not present at the shop at all the times, and has not done a day-to-day job that, according to this guidance, should be. There are no conditions in the license. So we are proposing we've sent some proposed conditions last night to Jack Roberts, and I gather you must have received those proposed conditions. We feel that the license be still stringent and those proposed conditions be added to the license, which would make it much more stronger on the license side. We feel that there must be a change of DPS at the premises. We feel that the new incoming DPS must be fully trained, must have a DPS level 3 course carried out. We feel that Mr. Singh should sit down along with the DPS and a company like us to make sure that such products, although the products weren't found in the shop, please make note that the products were not found in the shop. And there was no sale, and there is no evidence that you have today in front of you regarding any sale of products. So that must be taken into consideration when you are making your decision. And we feel that by having these changes and putting these conditions in, we are happy to propose a 1-month suspension on the premises so matters can be put into place. So Chairman, that's what we feel, that there is a way forward. We are all going through a recession period at this very moment, and we all need to succeed and we all need to be surviving. And then Mr. Singh's has a family to look after, and there will be bills coming in. So Chairman, we feel there is a way forward. There was a way forward. Make sure you understand that there are products after the first visit in 2021, the products were not in the shop for sale. There is no evidence that Mr. Deere is showing you that the products were in the shop selling or the products were sold. So Chairman, this is what our proposal is today for you, that we feel that the premises be suspended for 1 month. All the conditions be put in place with the premises, and a DPS, a new change of DPS be appointed, whereby the DPS could work along with the responsible authorities. That's our proposal today, Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Panchal, I've had a look at your conditions. There are like about 20 conditions.
Yes, Chairman.
Can you point us on a specific condition that is stopping or preventing the premises to repeat this, what happened, just to help us so that we know what condition you are proposing to stop this happening?
Yes, Chairman. Chairman, there was one of the conditions that we rushed in yesterday, was that all products sold at the premises will be bought in from an AWRS registered company.
But is that not something that the shopkeeper should be doing anyway?
Yes, the shop, but in this case, we are putting it in. So condition number 16, all products for sale in the shop will be purchased from an AWRS registered business, and invoices will be available for inspection by the authorities when required.
But is that not something that should be happening anyway without conditions?
It could be that we could say that if there was no conditions on the premises license, some of the mandatory conditions could be there anyway for a trader. We could argue today, sorry, Chairman, we could argue today to say, well, he is aware, so the products were not in the shop. You could argue there.
The reason I'm asking is that my impression is, when I looked at the condition, that you have just copy and pasted from somewhere, but they are not related to the actual case. So I was just trying to find out whether I have misunderstood something, because I couldn't see any condition that was stopping this happening. They were very typical licensing conditions. So I was just asking, but that's fine. That's okay. Thank you for your reply. I don't see any witness. Do you have any witness or not?
No, we don't have any witness. The license holder is here with me. Yeah. We do not have any witnesses to to bring in.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Now, any questions from Bob? You have any question?
Yes, Chair, thank you. Just in Mr. Panchow's presentation, he mentioned that Mr. Singh hadn't received any papers. Well, when I served the review on the 12th of October, he signed my notebook for receipt of all the evidence that's before you today. So he's had all the evidence since the 12th of October. And I understand Democratic Services, appreciate the post-strike, confirmed that Mr. Panchow was represented him late last week. I just wanted Mr. Panchow to confirm that.
Let me just put it absolutely clear to Bob Deere that the client did last week come to us to say that he wants to, he would let us know if he wants to appoint us. So we were prepared, just ready for when we get appointed for it. He was waiting for the documents to come in before he could come to us to say. The documents I'm talking about is the bundle. We didn't get the bundle, or we didn't ask for the bundle because we weren't appointed. People would come to us and say, we would like you to appoint, this is the matter. And we would say, well, as soon as the bundle comes in, let us know. He received the bundle yesterday morning, and then he rang us to say, I've now got the bundle. And I said, when is their hearing due? Oh, my hearing's due tomorrow. Why is the bundle coming today and your hearing is tomorrow? But we found out that because of the Royal Mail strike, his documents didn't reach him in the time that it should have reached him. And then he came to us to say, we want you to go ahead and represent us. We then take when somebody, client tells us, then you want to represent, then we will represent. Otherwise, there's no point of us looking into documents when we are not represented.
Yeah, my whole point, Mr. Panchow, I appreciate he only got the bundle, but the only thing that's additional in that bundle is the pack that has been seen by yourself, i.e. what the most important thing is at 1.2, the six proposals that the committee can take, i.e. modify the conditions, exclude a license of activity. Mr. Surbir Singh had all the evidence from 12th of October. He's left it, well, allegedly left it till last night to come and see you when he knew the seriousness of the matter. He was given a first and final warning in December and told not to sell the products in the shop and have possession of them, because you don't need to sell them. We don't need proof of sale. It's possession. And under the trade and stands laws that these products were seized under, his vehicle that has been used twice to store illicit products is a container. It's in his possession. So that's the offence. And we'll move on. I've got another question, actually. Mr. Surbir Singh has had shops, you said, in a personal license since 2013. Why wasn't he on this license for the last 2 years? Has he got a previous conviction or something like that that bars him from becoming a DPS?
No, he hasn't got any convictions, according to us. When we asked him last night, does he have any convictions, which he did. That is why we pointed it out to the committee today, that since 2013, when he had a license, we asked him, what did you do with your personal license? So did you have any other businesses? So he laid it out to us what businesses he had from 2013, which I've already presented to you, what he did from 2013 to 2020. But he has no convictions. He has nothing. And why the DPS wasn't changed was a big question that we asked him. But he said Mr. Sanghera is the landlord of the premises, and he happened to wanted to remain as a DPS on it. So, well, which we ourselves were a little bit confused at why the DPS wasn't changed. So okay. We can.
I've just got one final question.
Yeah.
And that's you're trying to say that Mr. Surbir Singh is innocent because and shouldn't have his license revoked because he stored the products in his van. Well, I would say that's obvious why he stored those products in the van, to try and prevent us from seizing them. But you also mentioned that everyone's doing it. Does that make it illegal to do it then? Okay for a licensee to break the law?
There is a, I've been dealing with the community for quite a long time. You understand, you are aware how many people that we look after. Majority of the people in South Holland and Hounslow are looked after by us. We do understand, and we do try and train people and make sure they are hardworking people. They want to go forward. They want to make money, and they want to make sure that they can have a good living. But when they look at it, like for instance, one of the biggest problems we have in this area, the West London area, is we have Charles House full of products that you can go and buy. A cash receipt is given to you, and you bring up in your shop and sell it. When they give you a receipt, that means you legally bought the product. You got the receipt for it, so you are entitled as a trader to sell it. And then suddenly you realize those products are not illegal to be sold. I'm talking about the vapes, although the vapes are not in this material, but I'm giving you an example. So we're telling our clients when they come up to say, make sure you don't buy products from Charles House, or if you buy it, make sure you first confirm with the trading standards or something that are we allowed to sell this or not. They are imported. The products are laid out openly in the open market. We don't understand why the trading standards do not go and follow up that and stop it. But when we asked one of the trading standards, which I don't want to mention, they said it's better we tell the shopkeepers not to buy it because the products are there at Charles House. Charles House is full of those products. But there you are, and traders want to somehow or the other, in day and age when the electricity goes up or the gas goes up, somehow or the other they need to survive some way to pay their rates and rents and that, and everybody else is doing it. Suddenly the competition comes up. It makes them feel that they want to do it. Then we make them understand that it's better for you not to do it, and it's better for you to go around and do any other business rather than doing this if you think that the business isn't working.
Yeah,
So,
big company, they supply
the poppy flower, for instance, when I asked him why do you have the poppy flower, he reckons that he bought the poppy flower, he's got the receipt for it, he paid by his
company,
there is a UK company that supplies it and pays by your credit card. So he paid by the credit card, the UK company supplied the poppy flower, which is legally. Now, where do we stand from there? So there are a lot of questions up and down that we come across with traders. We try and make them understand. We try and make sure that they don't come across it. And it's not easy. We represent them, we look after them, and we try and make sure we can do the best as far as finance is concerned, so they can represent such.
That answers the question that, on my question, thank you, obviously, that all traders believe because they have an invoice signed by someone, it's legal. Well, that's unbelievable. I'm sorry that you've even said that to the committee, you know.
I keep repeating again, sorry, Chairman, I keep repeating.
Hang on, Ms. Fanchel, I can make an invoice up and hand you an invoice. Doesn't make anything legal, does it?
Well, when you go and buy products with an invoice, you are then giving that invoice to your accountant to make sure that you are paying taxes on it, or you pay taxes on it. That is why invoices are there for your accounting purposes, and then you legally bought the stuff when an invoice is produced by any company.
We're moving off
but to make sure that the product is not valid.
Okay, we're moving off the review, the evidence. You're not supporting any evidence for your client. You're saying that Mr. Subir Singh bought a lot of illicit products. He stored them in his van the second time. The first time they were in his shop. They were for sale because they were behind their counter. He's been a licensee since 2013. You know, he should know a lot better. He knows what products are illicit and are not, you know, and counterfeit. you know.
We're not arguing.
So I'll just pass you over to the committee now to ask some questions. Anyway, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Chair. I do need to. I need to stress it is important for us also to be given sufficient weight on this hearing. I'm not saying that Mr. Singh is in possession, so he should not be penalized. We're not saying he should not be penalized. We're not saying that. We're saying that yes, the products were not in the shop. The products weren't yet for sale. Let's put it like that. Yes, he is in fault for possessing those goods with him. No doubt about that. We're not arguing with that. We're not saying we are arguing that.
Well, your statement is a bit confusing, Mr. Panchal. On one side, you are saying he should be penalized, but on the other side, you are saying it's not his fault because Charles House is selling. So you need to be very clear whether it should be stopped or if you get an invoice, it's fine.
I'm not confusing the committee at the same time. I'm just saying that the products that he had were in his van. But what his argument is that I'm talking about the Charles House products, which he didn't have that. He didn't have the Charles House product which he had in the van. The poppy seeds that he had, the poppy flowers that he had, it was a big company that he bought from. So he has an invoice for that, or he paid by card or whatever. But at the same time, what we are saying is, yes, we can train him. Yes, we can give him a way forward by making sure that such products are in future. This product should not be bought. In future, whatever he does, he can rely on trading standards and ask them if he's not very sure about it. So there is a chance for him to go forward. That's what we are saying. We're not denying anything.
Okay, colleagues, do you have any question? Yes, John.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, so I mean, I share the Chair's confusion about do seem to be different explanations offered in Mr. Panchal's statement. So just trying to understand the explanation that's being offered for the illicit goods in the van. Is it at one point you were saying that it's they were products that he'd obtained and he wasn't sure whether they were legal or not, so he had them there as some sort of samples to decide whether they were going to be legal to sell or not. And another point you seem to be saying that kind of everyone knows that they're illegal, but they're just a sort of a general widespread thing in the community. And then the third explanation seems to be that regardless of the fact that it may be unlawful for Mr. Singh to have them because they were in the van rather than in the shop, then it's separate from the licensing matter. Can you kind of confirm which of those three is the explanation that you're putting forward?
The only explanation I can put forward from what information I get from the client is to make sure that a product or two in the van, there were products which are not legal. We're not arguing about that, but there were some products that he argues to say that he bought it legally. He got a legal invoice for it. So that's something that we are saying to the committee. For instance, the poppy flowers or poppy flower powders, whatever he had. The other products were not legal. That's what we are saying, and he should have not. He did not put it in the shop. That's what our argument is, and it wasn't for sale in the shop yet. Maybe, who knows? I'm not arguing, but other illegal products were not yet in the shop for sale or had not been for sale, and he should not have it. That's what my view is, but his view was that he'd kept it in the van.
No, thank you.
Councillor Kohli. Your mic is off, Councillor Kohli. Can you switch your mic on, please? Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Panchal, you accept the fact that the products were in the van? Yes?
Yeah, the products were in the van.
Yes, okay. You accept the fact that it might not be on sale at that point, but would you acknowledge that there was intention to sell?
It will be very difficult for me to answer that question. It will be easier for Mr. Surbir Singh to say that whether the products were going to be up for sale or not. At the present moment, when the products were caught up by Mr. Deer and Mr. Gohati, the products were not up for sale. So his intention for sale was there or not, I can ask him now. Was your intention that you wanted to sell those products from the van? The show?
No.
He says no.
Right. On balance of probability, he is a trader.
Yeah.
And having such volume of products gives an indication, or certainly lends towards the direction of that there is intention to sell. Secondly, on the 4th of October, this was the second visit made by the council officers, where he has the products in the van. Now, this doesn't seem to be a coincidence that it's happened twice on 2 visits.
Only questions, Councillor Kohli, no conclusion.
Okay. No, what I'm trying to suggest that, does this not give an indication that there is intention?
No, he's answered the question.
I can answer that question. The intentions could be in 2 ways. The intention first would be that they were still in the van, and the intention was not to be sold because they were still in the van and not brought up in the shop for sale. That could be in the first answer. The second answer could be, yes, if it was in the van, he could sell it. So there could be 2 answers to it. And whichever one you would like to take it. We would say, the client would always say that to me, that my intention was to first find out whether it was legally to be sold or not. My intention, if I look at it on the other side of it, in your favor, if I were to speak in your favor, I could say, well, you had it in the van, so you were going to sell it. That could be mine and your view. So it's his views at the moment, which says that his intention wasn't there to sell unless and until he found out whether the products were legally to be sold or not. That's what his views are.
Okay,
Yes,
Chair, if you could allow me, could
Yes.
I ask, obviously, I do appreciate that Mr. Subir is not the DPS holder, but it's the duty of the DPS holder to make sure he trains the staff there. Could you please ask Mr. Subir, what are the licensing objectives? Because I do need to ascertain whether he understands these principles. So is he able to answer what are the licensing objectives?
Licensing objectives, sorry, I'm going to ask him.
Yeah, sure.
Licensing objectives आप बता सकते हैं? वो 4 licensing objectives वो आपको पता है क्या है? His English is not very good, and at the moment he doesn't understand 4 licensing objectives. Let me put it like that. Although he understands prevention of. हाँ तो वो बताओ ना, बताओ. हिंदी में बताओ. Sorry, he's gonna.
Yeah, he can say in Hindi.
Yeah, say it in Hindi.
Yes.
हाँ बोलो. 4 licensing कैसे ट्रेड करना बताओ.
License, if anyone come to reject it, underage, see the ID. If they got any ID, photo ID, passport or driving license, if underage, they reject it.
Okay, we've got the answer, Subir. We've got the answer. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Subir.
Thank you. Okay, any further question, Councillor Kohli? No
No,
question?
I think that's fine now for my case.
Okay, thank you. I think we have come to the stage where I'm going to ask the parties to conclude. But before I go to that, one final comment I would, rather than a question, Mr. Panchal. I heard during the conversation, Bob Deere said that Subir said when they inspected that everyone is doing. I think if everyone is doing in the community, then someone need to take responsibility, and I think that's where we are now. Who is going to take the responsibility to stop this? But I'm going to go to Bob and ask to conclude, and then I will be asking Mr. Panchal to conclude it.
Sorry, Chair, I do have a comment to make in what you're saying. I do understand that today on our inspection, why we are here for last 15, 20 years in this licensing trade is because we speak 5 different kinds of languages, and we work with the off licenses mainly are owned by the ethnic minorities. If you look at it, majority of the ethnic minorities own the off licenses. It's an easy way of business when they come from overseas like Afghanistan and that. They don't speak, the English isn't their second language, first language. And they tend, the easiest way for them is to buy a shop and buy and trade. And we're here to always get involved with them and to make sure what the laws are and how the trading is carried out in this country. And we are getting a better results every year we are trading. And initially we had a lot of people who were getting problems with the trading standards and that when they were stocking goods. But we are now having seminars, we are talking to the people, we speak in their own languages, and we try and resolve as much as we can. And the matter is getting better and better as we move. We understand, we tell traders not to go down to Charles House and buy stuff because there are so many illegal stuff that you can land up into a problem. And they are understanding, they are having a way forward, and they are looking into it. And that is one of the things that we always come to the committee and say, if we can move forward with businesses and we can make them understand, and we give them a bit of a punishment to make sure we can carry on trading in that, then there is a chance of trade going on with the people. And we're doing our best in the market at the moment.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Kohli.
Mr. Panchal, you do understand that by selling illicit products, or for example, those Popeye seeds or Popeye powder, first thing, we don't know where it's come from. We don't know how it's been produced. So first thing, public health and safety is very important. It could be your child, it could be my child, it could be anyone, it could be any adult. You know, illicit cigarettes are not regulated. Yes. So, you know, there could be a matter of life and death as well. So it's not just the licensing, there's other wider consequences.
Okay, thank you. Any further question? No. Okay, Bob, over to you to conclude, please.
Thank you, Chair. Obviously, Jack very kindly forwarded the proposed conditions over this morning. That Mr. Panchal said last night. I do believe it was yourself that brought the point up, cut and pasted from every application. Most of it is actually law. You know, number 16 was mentioned. All products for sale in the shop will be purchased from an AWRS registered business, and invoice will be available for inspection by the authorities when required. That is law. At least 3 years old, probably longer. Not followed in this case because there's products there that are imported from India, and likewise with no warnings on them in English, and so that's breaking the law. Nothing. I would say that is the minimum standards that is expected of licensees, especially from me here on this borough. in every borough that I've ever worked in. These conditions are just set a standard. As you heard, Mr. Sabir is not the DPS. And his answer to the question about the 4 licence objectives, basically that's, that's not down to, unfortunately, English being his second language. It's because he doesn't know what he's doing. But the best way for him to move forward is to sell illicit products, make not even good money. It has been heard, every shop in, especially Southall, is doing it apparently, so it's okay. So if everybody is going into Marks and Spencer's to steal wine and stuff, is it all right for everybody to go in there and steal stuff? No. So he was told and given a first and final warning on the 2021 in December that illicit products cannot be sold in his shop. He cannot be in his possession. So what does he do? He has similar products and additional products, 9 kilos worth of Indian tobacco in his van, which no duty has been paid on that. Doesn't matter if you've got an invoice, no duty paid. So I think nothing has changed my mind, and I still ask for this license to be revoked. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Panchal, your turn to conclude it, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I can only say that, yes, there is some very good work done by Mr. Bob Deere. We're also trying to help the traders at the same time. We're always, as Mr. Bob Deere understands.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you here? Bob, can you switch on your mic and tell again? So what are you asking, to revoke or to suspend?
No, revoke. I'm asking it to be revoked, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Panchal, carry on.
Sorry, okay. Yeah, all we're doing at the moment, we're not saying that Bob Deere's against the businesses. He is doing a fantastic work as far as the public is concerned, and we understand where he is coming from. At the same time, we're also trying our best to make sure to make the traders understand that such products, which though there is a demand for products like the Indian products that we all are aware of, the pans and the things that people consume in India in large amount, and they come down here, that there is a demand, but it's not allowed to be sold in this country. So it's something that we are trying to tell the traders that it's coming in, and traders are attracted to it because there is a demand for it. But we are trying to say to the traders, they're not allowed to sell those. So they are understanding gradually. We are getting results out of it at times. And at times we also support the councils very well, where the businesses, if they don't understand and their licenses are revoked, we tend to tell the businesses that you are not supposed to be in the market because you do not understand. And at times we come down to the committee and say, yes, there is a chance given to this to businesses who, like Mr. Surbir Singh, does understand and does want to understand. And he raises his hands up of what has happened here. He wants to go forward. So we are coming to the committee today to say that there is a chance for Mr. Surbir Singh to go forward. There is a chance that if the suspension is put forward and a new DPS is put in and fully trained, there could be a good result for going forward for Mr. Surbir Singh. And that is why we are requesting. When it comes to the conditions are set up by the guidance, and it's not a matter of copying and pasting it. It's a matter of how some companies put their conditions, which are by the licensing guidance section 182, so that the CCTV should be there. So we're not pasting and putting the conditions in. Some of the conditions we ourselves have worked out also, which follow, and we work along with the trading standards and Mr. Bob Deere at times to say which conditions would be suitable for which kind of premises. So these conditions that we've got today, we looked at it last night and said these are the conditions that could be suitable for Mr. Surbir Singh, because at the present moment, there are no conditions on the license. So we feel that this should be suitable and would robustly promote the 4 licensing objectives that Mr. Surbir Singh showed. That's what we are putting it down. And it covers the whole 4 licensing objectives when you look at those conditions. So that's what we are asking the committee today, for Mr. Surbir Singh to go forward, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I think we have come to the point where committee is ready to go offline and make a decision. It's 11:22. What we will do, we will take half an hour so we can come back at 11:45. But if we are not decided by then you will be notified. So you can come online at 11:45. But if we delay, then we will send you a message.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.